Has any one of you ever drank alcohol in this room?
So have you drank alcohol?
I'm asking you, and you're not asking me. That's the problem. I'm saying, has any one of you guys ever drank alcohol?
Yes, sir.
It's a no. It's a no from Sam. Okay. So basically, your alcohol, you guys should know, because you guys are doing organic chemistry, should know that alcohol contains ethanol. The alcohol part is ethanol. So you shouldn't drink any other alcohol that doesn't have ethanol in it. If you drink something that has got methanol, good luck. You're gonna die. You must drink alcohol that contains ethanol only. In fact, let's not go to if you must drink or not. That depends on how you believe things. But now, what we're interested in is to name these alcohols. So we're just going to start with the naming of the unbranched alcohols, guys. They don't have any branch, they don't have any methyl group, they don't have any other substituents. It's just a simple straight chain alcohol. So to name these guys, very simple. You use those standard IUPAC naming rules. The root name, the suffix. Okay, the suffix for alcohols is going to be all. It's going to be all. So the name of an alcohol must end with an OL at the end. Not with an anol, guys. It's an OL at the end. Okay, and you must also indicate the position of the functional group. What is the functional group for alcohols? What's the name of the functional group for alcohols? Yes, Olive.
The hydroxyl.
Yes, it's a hydroxyl group. So you must indicate where the hydroxyl group is found. The hydroxyl group, guys, or the functional group of alcohols, it's simply an O and an H. So it's a OH that are bonded together. Okay. So now let's look at a compound number 1. You can see that it's unbranched. So there's only one straight chain here consisting of 3 carbons. And now this is a kind of a symmetrical molecule, because even if you count from right to left or from left to right, your functional group will still be at the same position. Do you guys see the functional group in the first compound, compound A?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
On which carbon is the functional group?
Carbon 2.
Yes, so this OH group, which is our hydroxyl group, it is found on carbon 2. So even if you number from right to left or from left to right, you are still going to find your OH group or your hydroxyl group on carbon number 2. So when you're going to name this, remember that this is a functional group, it's not a substituent, guys. So you don't write it as a substituent, it's a functional group. Guys know how to differentiate between a functional group and a substituent. This OH is not a substituent. The only substituents that I've talked about so far, it is the haloalkane and the one for the alkyl group, the halogen and the alkyl group. Those are the only substituents. Otherwise, this OH is a functional group. So now from here, we can see that this is having 3 carbons in its longest chain. So the root name must definitely have a prop there. But when you write it, we're not going to write just a prop. We're going to write a what? A propane. Propane, like this. Guys, why are we not just writing prop? Why am I writing a prop with an AN? What did I say this means? Like a prop with an AN. I told you guys last time, Mote, prop and then an AN. That's AN. What does it mean? Let's see from yes and no. What does it mean?
Number of carbons, sir.
Number of carbons. No, the prop is the number of carbons. It means that we're having 3 carbons. That's correct. But the AN, why am I not just writing prop alone? Why am I writing the AN as well? Let's hear that from Shadrach.
Yes, it shows that it's saturated.
Yes, it shows that your compound is saturated. It is saturated. There are only single bonds between the carbon atoms. This is an alcohol. The bonds between the carbon atoms, all of them, they must be single bonds. Because for now, you guys are still in grade 12. You're going to do alcohols with single bonds between carbon atoms. All the alcohols that you're going to do are saturated. But if you proceed with chemistry later, you probably do alcohols with double bonds, with triple bonds and whatnot. But for now, you guys are doing alcohols with single bonds between carbon atoms. Those are saturated alcohols. So basically, this AN, it shows that this is a saturated compound. And then after that, that's where you're going to put a dash and tell us the position of the functional group. Because we are now having more than 2 carbons in the longest chain, you must tell us where is the functional group being found. Where is it found in this way? On carbon 2. And then after that, you write an ol, because the ol is the suffix for alcohol. So this is propan 2-ol. Or alternatively, you can write this as what? What can you write this as?
So 2-propanol.
You can write this as 2-propanol. So you can just choose to write the 2 outside. Just choose to write the 2 outside. So when you write the 2 outside, it shows that this 2 is the position of the functional group. So if you guys are gonna write something like a prop 2-ol, something like this, prop 2-ol, this is a wrong name, because this prop alone, without this an, without this an, this an, it kind of suggests that this is not saturated. So this presence of an an tells us that this is a what? A saturated compound. Are you guys with me? Yes, Sam?
Yes, sir.
So, sir, in other words, sir, so in the OH, we don't show the bond line between OH.
Well, you can show it or you cannot show it. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. But we already know the bond exists in English. So you can show that we've got a carbon bonded to an oxygen and an oxygen bonded to a hydrogen. But these days, they are likely to just write it as carbon bonded to an OH group. It's more like a group of atoms. They just collect them. They don't show the bonds between these 2 atoms usually.
Okay.
Yes, so you don't have to worry about the bond there. It can be there, sometimes it won't be there. Most of the times it won't be there for you to see. Okay, name compound B, guys. Let's now roll with it. Name compound B. What is the name of compound B? Yes, Orif.
So the name of compound B is going to be 1-propanol.
It's going to be 1-propanol, or you can say this is propan 1-ol. This is propan 1-ol, or you can say this is 1-propanol. You see that? So basically you can see that here, guys, when you count your numbers, you are not supposed to count like 1, 2, 3. This will be wrong, because your functional group, it is now on carbon 3. You should number from this carbon, that is the functional group itself, because this carbon is like more closer to this OH than the other ones. So you must number like this is your carbon 1, this is your carbon 2, this is your carbon 3, so that your OH group or your hydroxyl group can occupy a lowest number or a low numbered carbon. Because if you're going to count from left to right, this OH is going to be found on carbon 3, and that's going to be a problem. Okay, so basically your OH must be found on, or for this compound specifically, this OH is found on carbon 1, and then now you count backwards from right to left. Do you guys see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is easy and quick. Name compound C. Quickly. What is compound C? Yes, no?
So it's pentane -1-ol.
Pentane. As in like pentane, like pentan. Yes, don't put the E. Don't. I don't want the sound of the E there. Okay, don't make it an alkyl. Yes, AN. So it's pentan 1-ol. So this AN there, it is showing us that this is what? This is a saturated organic compound, or it's a saturated organic molecule, because we're having single bonds between the carbon atoms, single covalent bonds between the carbon atoms. Or you can say that this is 1-pentanol. Remember, guys, that you are allowed to just write this 1 outside and say this is 1-pentanol. If you write just pentanol, it's wrong, guys. Please don't write just pentanol as if we have to guess where the OH is coming from. No, Okay, you don't just guess where the OH is coming from, you write its position according to the given structural formula. So for this structural formula, when you number your carbons, you won't number from left to right because your OH is here, is very far away from the leftmost carbon. So you must number from this carbon here because it's more closer to the OH group. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the pent there is coming from 5 carbons, and then the one there is telling us the position of the OH group. Then the suffix, it must be OL. Name D, guys, name D. Let's move with it. What is the name of D? Yes, let's see now.
So it's pentane dash 3 dash all.
So this is pentan dash 3 dash all. We can confirm that if we number our carbons from 1, okay, you can see this is our OH group, this is our hydroxyl group. So if we number our carbons from carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4, carbon 5, this is numbering the carbons in this straight chain, the only chain available. If we number them from like left to right, our OH group, which is our hydroxyl group, it is on carbon number 3. Similarly, if you were to number from right to left and say this is carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4, and carbon 5, still your OH group will still be on carbon number 3. So it makes no difference for this particular one, because whether you number from right to left or from left to right, your OH is still going to be at the same position. Do you guys see that? I was saying it, guys. Yes, so this is pentan 3-ol, or you can say that this is 3-pentanol. Don't just write pentanol. This is 3-pentanol. Do you see, guys, that these compounds, like, they are the same? If you look at D and C, compound D and compound C, all of them, they are alcohols and they've got 5 carbons. Like, they've got 5 carbons. All of them, they've got the name pentanol in them. But what makes them different here, guys? Because all of them, they've got the same number of carbons, same number of hydrogens. What makes them different? Yes, or if?
So the location of the functional group.
Yes, the location of the functional group, which is position 3 here. So you cannot assume what they are the same compounds. It's not the same compound. They are totally different. Different chemical properties, different physical properties as well. Toluene compound D, it is used in your food and whatnot. And compound C, toluene, it is used in your washing powder. All of them, they like exhibit different physical properties. They are used in different ways. So just because they have the same number of carbons and hydrogens, it doesn't really imply that they are all the same compound. Are we clear, guys?
Yes.
Now tell me, is the name butan 3-ol correct? Is the name butan 3-ol correct?
Yes.
Is the name butan 3-ol correct? Yes, Orifa?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
No.
What's wrong with it?
So what's wrong with it, sir?
Yes.
Oh, so you want me to answer what's wrong with it?
Yeah, you cannot just say Pella is not correct without knowing what's wrong with it.
So it's going to be wrong, sir, because you can't have 3-butanol. It's going to be 2-butanol because you have to start with the lowest number.
Okay, yes, no.
Oh, sir. Okay. I was confused. Which one are we looking at? I was confused.
Okay, so guys, write the structural formula that is provided and try to see if the compound is correct. This is butan 3-ol. So let's rewrite the structural formula. Butan means that we just have got 4 carbons and all of them have got single bonds between them. It's a butan. Butan, the AN tells you that is what? It is saturated. And then on carbon number 3, so if we say this is carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, and carbon 4, on carbon number 3 we are having an OL. This OL means that the position of the functional group is the carbon number 3. So let's put the OH there. Remember the OL there stands for the hydroxyl group. So the rest of the bonds we should just fill in with the hydrogens, as you guys already know. So let's just fill in with the hydrogens, and Precious will tell me what's wrong with this. Yes,
Yeah.
Precious. Yes, Mukobe. Okay, she raises a hand, she doesn't talk. Is there a network problem? Are you talking, Mukobe, or not? Okay, let's hear from Orifa.
So was I not right the first time?
Well, I didn't say you went. Let's just try to prove if you were. So when you count the number of carbons, guys, since our OH group is here, when we're going to count the number of carbons here, we're going to count from right to left or from left to right.
So from right to left.
Yes, because we count from the carbon that is like most closest to the functional group rather than this carbon that is so far away. Okay, so we count from this carbon that is the most closest to the functional group. So when we do just that, let me go back. So when we do just that and we count, this is going to give me the following. This is going to be carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, and carbon 4. So you can see that your OH group, it is found on carbon 2. So this is supposed to be butan 2-ol. It can never become butan 3-ol if you are counting the numbers and the carbons closer to the functional group. It can never be butan 3-ol. So this name is incorrect for that reason. So you attempt to write the structural formula and you name the compound. You rename the compound. When you rename it, it's different from the one that is provided, so it's not correct. Yes, Precious, do you still have a question? You didn't talk last time. Yes, Mukobe, are you talking? Okay, then Mukobe, you're gonna write in the chat box whatever you wanna say, because I think you are having problems with your mic. Okay, those were simple unbranched alcohols. Let's look at the branched ones. When we now have got a branch, remember guys, is a side chain. A branch, it can be a side chain or a halogen substituent, but you guys are not going to do alcohols having halogen substituents because you guys are still young and you are still getting used to this thing. Okay, so whatever branch that you're gonna have here is going to be either a methyl group or it's an ethyl group or it's a propyl and whatnot. Yes, Sam?
So, sir, if you introduce AMA branch, it means you are also introducing secondary, tertiary, and so forth, sir.
Well, we can have secondary even though we don't have a branch. Let's go back here. Good thing I want you guys to classify. You reminded me, Sam, something that you're still gonna do, but I want you to do it now. Look at compound A. Is this a primary, secondary, or tertiary alcohol? Compound A.
Secondary.
Is it secondary alcohol? Does it have any branch, Sam? Does it have any branch, Sam? Does it have any branch?
No.
No, but it's a secondary
No, sir.
alcohol, right? What about compound B? Is it primary or a secondary alcohol?
Primary.
Primary, sir.
Why, Mahlodi? Why do you say it's a primary alcohol?
Because the carbon that is attached to the hydroxy is attached to one carbon.
Yes, so you look at the carbon, this carbon that is attached to the hydroxyl group. You look at how many other carbons are bonded to this carbon that is attached to the hydroxyl group. In this case, we've got only one carbon, which is carbon number 2, this one. It is the one that is attached to this carbon bonded to the hydroxyl group. So it's a primary alcohol. Look at compound D. Is it a primary or it's a secondary alcohol?
Secondary.
Secondary. You look at the carbon, this carbon that is bonded to the hydroxyl group. Look at how many other carbons are bonded to this carbon. In this case, it's carbon 3. You are having how many carbons, Sam? Yes, how many other carbons are bonded to?
So I had a question. To which carbon?
Yes, this carbon number 3 on compound D. Carbon number 3, the one that is bonded to the hydroxyl group. How many other carbons is carbon 3 bonded to?
2, sir.
Yes, it's carbon 2 and carbon 4. So there are 2 of them. It's a secondary alcohol. So what was your question, Sam?
Okay, so I was asking, so what was my, oh, I'll remember it, sir.
Okay, yes, no.
Oh, sir, my question is on the previous session that we had. And you remember that one that I made a mistake with the last time, sir, the longest one.
Yes.
The one that I had a mistake. Yeah, I wanted to ask: is it a primary or tertiary or secondary, sir? Can you go back or you can't, sir?
I can. Don't worry, let's just go back to it. It was the haloalkanes. Oh, we didn't classify them.
Yes,
Let's look at them, guys. Let's look at the first one on this haloalkanes. You reminded me on this haloalkanes. The first haloalkane, is it a primary, is it a secondary, or a tertiary haloalkane? Let's see, Sam. The first one, A.
Sir, it's a secondary. Yeah? Yes, sir.
Why?
Because it was attached into 2 carbon atoms.
What is bonded to 2 carbon atoms? Let's say they ask you in a question, or you're just gonna say it is attached to 2 carbon atoms. What is attached?
Boron, sir.
The bromine?
The boron is attached into 2. Yes, sir.
No, the bromine is not attached to 2 other carbons, Sam. That's wrong. This bromine, is it attached to 2 other carbons? This one, this Br.
No.
What is the proper way of explaining it? What is the proper way of explaining it? Tell us, whoever it is, tell us. What is the proper way of explaining?
The
Yes, Mahlodi.
the carbon that is attached to haloalkane is attached to 2 carbon.
Yes, the carbon that is bonded, or the carbon that is attached to the halogen, which is our Br, is bonded to 2 other carbons. This carbon number 4 is bonded to 2 other carbons. That makes it a secondary haloalkane. So you don't look at the bromine, you look at the carbon bonded to the bromine, and you look at how many other carbons are attached to it. So this makes it a secondary haloalkane. Yes, Sam?
So, sir, should I know all those definitions of primary,
Yes,
secondary,
yes,
and tertiary?
yes, very much. You should know them very much, because they'll ask you with the reasoning. They'll first ask you, classify this as primary, secondary, or tertiary haloalkane. And after that, they will say, give a reason for your answer. That's the reason that you're supposed to give. A proper one, of course.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to B. Nogu asked us to go back to this question so that we can be able to answer B. Let's hear from Nogu, yes?
Yes, sir. I said it's a primary and it's a secondary, sir.
A primary and a secondary at the same time.
Because the carbon bonded to the chloro, sir, it is bonded to 1 carbon, sir, and the carbon bonded to the bromo is bonded to 2 other carbons, sir.
Oh, okay. Oh, here we've got 2 halogen substituents. No, this primary, secondary, and tertiary, they will never ask you when you've got 2 halogens. Don't worry, they won't ask you when you've got 2 halogens. They will only ask you to classify it as a primary, secondary, and tertiary if you've got only 1 halogen. Yeah, I assumed there was only a Br there. Didn't check properly. But they will never ask you to classify it in that way if you've got 2 halogens at different positions. So back to these ones, branched alcohols. We're still using the same standard rules, guys, but now you always count the carbons, closer to the hydroxyl group, really closer to our functional group. It doesn't matter where the branch is, guys. Even if the branch is wherever, it doesn't matter. The functional group takes priority, because the functional group is not just a substituent, it is the dominant thing. It is the one that determines the physical and the chemical properties of a group of organic compounds. That's how you define a functional group, right? You say it's a bond, or you say it's an atom, or it's a group of atoms that determines the chemical and the physical properties of a group of organic compounds. So basically you prioritize your OH, which is your hydroxyl group. In this case, your hydroxyl group, it is found here. This is your hydroxyl group. So even if we can see that we have a methyl there, because I'm sure you guys can see that we have a side chain there, which is our methyl group. Like if we say that this is our parent chain, we will have a methyl group. This methyl group, it doesn't matter its position because it's a substituent. What matters is the functional group. So you count the carbons closer to the functional group, regardless of wherever the branch is. The alkyl branch is, either it's a methyl or it's an ethyl or whatever alkyl branch you might have. It doesn't matter its position. Number closer to the what? Closer to the functional group, which is the OH. So here, are we going to number from left to right or from right to left with that in mind?
Right to left.
Yes, right to left, because this will be your carbon 1, this will be your carbon 2, carbon 3, and carbon 4. Is this the only parent chain that you can highlight here, guys? Can you make another parent chain that is different? Yes, Orifa?
Yes.
Yes, you can make another parent chain. You can just say this is this is a parent chain as well. It will still have 4 carbons as well, and it will still have the carbon that is having the functional group. But you choose only one parent chain, guys. The other one becomes a side chain or an alkyl substituent. So now in this way, let us name. If we're gonna name using standard IUPAC rules, what are we supposed to start with on our name? Yes, let's hear from Mugobe. Okay, Mugobe's network is not doing us any favor. Let's hear from Nobu.
So we're going to start with the substituents.
Yes, we start with the substituents. Remember, guys, the IUPAC naming standard is like substituent, root name, then the suffix. The substituent here, it is the methyl group. You can see that that's the only substituents there, and it is found on which carbon?
2.
Yes, so this is supposed to be on carbon 2. We have got a methyl group, and then the longest chain here, it is having 4 carbons, so that the root name will be a butan. You first start with writing butan there. Don't just write but. Guys, if you just write but, I will assume there is a double bond between the carbon atoms or a triple bond. But if you write butan like this, butan, it already tells me that this is a what? This is a saturated alcohol molecule. So in this case, on which position is the functional group found? It is carbon 2, right? So this is just going to be 2-ol. So this AN, it is telling me that this is a saturated compound. You guys will only be doing alcohols that are saturated. Quick, let's go to B. Give the name of B. Yes, Orifa?
So the name of B, sir. So the name of B is going to be 5-methyl.
So 5-methyl.
5-methyl, and then 2.
2
hexanol.
2-hexanol. Does everyone agree to this? Yes, no?
No, sir.
Okay, let's just rewrite the structural formula number 1 thing so that you can see properly. Because if we don't rewrite the structural formula, we're going to have a problem. Guys, this is a condensed formula. It's not really a complete structural formula. You should rewrite it showing all the bonds that we've got. A carbon that is bonded to 3 hydrogens. So this is a carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. Bonded to another carbon, which is bonded to a carbon, bonded to 3 hydrogens. You take your time like expanding your formula so that you can be able to see it properly. Then this is a carbon bonded to 2 hydrogens, then another carbon bonded to 2 hydrogens, then another carbon bonded to a hydrogen, and then OH. So let me just write the OH like this, and the carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. So what's your query? No, let's see the query.
Oh, sir, I made a mistake.
So guys, please don't name the compound unless you write the complete structural formula. I always tell you guys, but you think which I'm consuming time. This is a CH3. Rewrite it as a carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens so that you can see everything properly. Because if you're just gonna count the carbons here, you are less likely to see correctly. Rewrite this as a complete structural formula. If you're having CH, write the carbon bonded to an H rather than just saying this is CH, because you will end up not recognizing the correct things here. Are we clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So are we going to number the
Yes,
carbons
sir.
from left to right or from right to left?
Left to right. I mean, right to
Right.
left.
Right to left,
Right
right?
to
This is
left.
carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4, carbon 5, and carbon 6. You guys can already see that on carbon 5 we have got a branch, because this is our parent chain. This is our parent chain. There's another way of highlighting the parent chain Nakona, but we've been doing this for millions of times now. This is our parent chain. And on carbon 5, we're having a methyl group there. This is CH3. It's a methyl group and it's found on carbon 5. So when you're going to name it, you're going to start with the methyl group. You tell us that on carbon 5, we've got a methyl group. That's the only substituent. Then we have the functional group, which is OH. This is the functional group OH. This is the functional group. It is on carbon number 2. So you can just choose to write the root name and say that this is 6 carbons. So this is going to be a hexane and then dash 2 all. So you can also write it in this way, or you can write it the way Orifa said it. Do you guys see that?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Simple naming for alcohols, guys. There's nothing much difficult here. Okay, let's do this one. Let's do C. I'm just going to rewrite the structural formula again as CH3. This is CH3, and then this is CH. This is CH bonded to CH3. Always learn to rewrite, guys, your structural formula in this way so that it's more clear. Bonded to CH2, bonded to CH2, bonded to OH. So whenever you see this OH, this is an alcohol. What's the name? Yes, Mukobe.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Final.
Okay. The
Yes.
name is gonna be 3-methyl-butane 1-ol.
So it's 3-methyl butane 1-ol. Yeah, so basically, guys, you number your carbons closer to the functional group. This is your functional group, is a hydroxyl group. Here you can see that this is your parent chain. This is your parent chain of carbons. Okay, so this is, you can say this is carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, and carbon 4. Or you can highlight your chain in another way, guys, to make an L shape. It will still have the same number of carbons. You can highlight it like this. You would still have 4 carbons in the parent chain. Then the other one will be a side chain. But you guys should okay, it's just that I like using the straight chain if it is the functional group, the correct one. If it is the parent chain. So on carbon 3, we are having a side chain. This is the side chain. This methyl group is our side chain. So this is your methyl. And then the root name is butane. The AN there, it is for saturated. Don't forget, guys. means that our compound has got only single bonds between carbon atoms. Awesome. Is the name 2-methyl-butan-4-ol correct? Write the structural formula to confirm. So we'll start by writing the structural formula and you guys will tell me. Let's hear Mahlodi.
Is wrong because we must consider the alcohol first before. Then methyl is the second one. We consider the alcohol first.
Just from the name, guys, you can see that the methyl group, it is given position 2, so it's on carbon 2. But your hydroxyl group, which is the functional group, is on position 4. Just from seeing from the name, you can see this is incorrect. But now, since they say draw a structural formula to confirm and give the correct name, of course, this is butan. It means that we're having 4 carbons that are saturated. And on carbon number 2, we're having a methyl group. On carbon 2, we're having a methyl group, and they say that on carbon number 4, we're having an OH group. This is their carbon number 4, of course. Then the rest is hydrogen atoms here. So the rest is hydrogen atoms. The rest is hydrogen atoms. So now, if you're gonna number this correctly, are you gonna number from left to right or from right to left?
Right to left.
Right to left. So this is going to be carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, and carbon 4. This is the longest chain, or you can say that this, let's just change for once so that we accommodate those who like these chains that are bending. This is your carbon 4. So this is basically your parent chain. This is your parent chain having 4 carbons. So it means this other carbon here, it is a side chain. It's a methyl group because it's a carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. So you're just going to now rename this as, what is going to be the new name, the correct one?
3-methyl-1-butanol.
The name
Yes, Mahlodi.
the name for compound, the name for letter D is the same as letter C.
Yes, the actual name is 3-methyl-butan-1-ol. Not prioritizing the branch first. So we're gonna go for another 10 minutes break, guys, and then you guys should do this. I don't think there's a need to even come back and do this, but it's fine. We're gonna do this activity after the break. Hey Lapo, I know that you've been enjoying this wonderful video and most likely you've been enjoying watching this handsome face in front of you, but sorry ladies, I'm taken. I just here to tell you that Educate is on the road to 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. So please click the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you get notifications whenever I post new videos. I want you guys to pass. Okay, so if you make my dream true, I reach 100k subscribers, I will make your dreams come true. I will even get you to varsity. I will get you with 7 distinctions. Yes. So let's start. Name each of the following alcohols using the IUPAC naming standard. State whether each is a primary, is a secondary, or is a tertiary alcohol. Okay, so let's look at a compound 1. Let's look at compound 1. What is the name of compound 1, Orifa?
So the name of compound 1 is going to be 2-butanol.
It's gonna be 2-butanol, or you can say it is butan-2-ol, right? Okay, classified as a secondary, primary, or a tertiary alcohol.
So it's secondary.
Secondary. Give a reason for your answer.
So because the carbon that is bonded to the functional group is bonded to 2 carbons.
Your answer is partially incorrect.
I mean, so it is.
Yes, Mahlodi.
Is secondary alcohol
Give a
because
reason.
the carbon that is attached to hydroxyl is attached to 2 other carbon.
So what was the mistake there, Orifa? You must say that the carbon that is attached to the hydroxyl group. Don't just say to the functional group. Tell us the name of the functional group, because you know that these are alcohols, of course. You guys see that, right?
Yes.
Yes. I don't know why Sam didn't classify this as a secondary or a tertiary. I don't see that at all. I don't see that at all. I don't know why. But we'll get to find out that later. But this is a secondary alcohol because the carbon that is bonded to the OH group or the carbon that is bonded to the hydroxyl group is bonded to two other carbons next to it. Okay. And then now B, I realize that it's a copy. So you can just skip it. It's the same compound. Do you guys realize that it's the same compound as the first one?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's the same compound, even if you didn't repeat it, because it's the same, by the way. So, yeah. Okay. So, what about C? What is the name of the compound C? What is the name of compound C? What did you guys get on compound C? Let's see, there is a Mahlodi.
3-methyl-butane -2-ol.
3-methyl butane what?
-2-ol.
-ol. So you number, yes, you number your carbons. If this is your parent chain, of course, because it's having 4 carbons, or you can draw it in another way. You guys already know that now. So you just number your carbons from left to right. This is carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, and carbon 4. So on carbon 3, we're having a methyl group. That's one correct thing. This is butane because we're having 4 carbons that are all bonded with single bonds. So that's the butane. And then this 2-ol means that our hydroxyl group is on carbon number 2. What about D? What name did you find? Yes, Olive.
So I thought you were asking you were going to ask if it's secondary, the second part of the question.
Oh yes, the second part. You can just answer that once off.
So it is going to be secondary.
Secondary alcohol for the same reason. Do you guys see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a secondary alcohol because basically this carbon, which is bonded to the hydroxyl group, in this case it is carbon number 2, it is bonded to 2 other carbons, which is carbon 1 and carbon 3 next to it. Then D, what is the name of D, Nobu?
It's said it's a 1-dimethyl
1-dimethyl
propanol.
dash what?
1-
Yes,
propanol.
propanol. And did you classify it as a primary, secondary, or tertiary?
Tertiary, sir.
Tertiary alcohol. Okay. Are you guys all able to see this without drawing, without writing the structural formula?
Nope.
So you need to redo the structural formula of this, right? This is CH32. How did you say we deal with this, guys? This CH32. Like we've got 2 methyl groups. Where are they attached to? These 2 methyl groups. Because CH3 is methyl groups. How are we gonna plot that? Yes, no.
So it's connected to the other carbon, sir.
Yes. So basically these 2 methyl groups, they are found on this carbon. Basically that's what it means. So we're gonna plot this carbon as the carbon that is part of the parent chain, and it is bonded to 2 methyl groups. So you can put 1 methyl group here and say this is CH3, and you can put another methyl group down here or up there. It is still the same. It's all your choice. So you realize that this carbon here, this one, it is bonded to 2 methyl group or 2 CH3 groups. Okay, and then after that, what do we have? Again bonded to the same carbon. Yes, no.
OH, sir.
And OH, right? So we have a hydroxyl group and OH. This OH, it is bonded to the same carbon. What tells us that it is bonded to the same carbon? Yes, no. How did we see that it's bonded to this carbon?
So, because the OH is a bracket, as the
Yes,
brackets,
that's what the bracket means. The bracket simply means that this is bonded to this carbon. Okay, that's the, because here, after plotting these two methyl groups, we had one bond missing, and this bracket was telling us that this bond belongs to that carbon. And then what follows after here is CH2.
CH2.
Yes, so we've got a CH2, and then lastly we have a CH3.
CH.
So obviously you guys would number your carbons in this okay, there's only one parent chain in this case, or there's two of them. You can pick this one and say this is your parent chain, or you can highlight it in this way as well. You can highlight it like this. It will still be the same parent chain because all of it is having the highest number of carbons, and also it is having the functional group, the carbon that is having a functional group. So this can also be your parent chain. Do you guys see that?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is my parent chain. So having this parent chain, what do I say about this carbon that is not part of the parent chain? This one, what is it? Yes, Shadrach?
I just want to ask a question.
Yes.
I see on the structure we have 4 carbons, but we wrote propanol.
Well, I was still writing someone's name, by the way. I was still writing someone's name. That's why I remade the structure. I want us to name it properly after writing the structural formula. Okay, so can we see, guys, that this will end up becoming a methyl group, this one?
Yes.
So now when you count the carbons for this parent chain highlighted in blue, am I going to count from this carbon here and say this is 1, or am I going to count from this carbon here? Which one am I going to take?
The bottom one.
The one that is equal to hydroxyl.
Yes, so the bottom one is more closer to this hydroxyl group, because you can see that our functional group, which is the OH here, it is closer to this. So this is 1, and then this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So our longest chain is having 4. So that's a butte there. Do you realize that? No.
yes, sir.
So you didn't draw the structural formula.
No, sir, I drew it. You will see the picture on WhatsApp, so you will see
Okay, I see where the
how I
confusion.
drew it.
Do you know, guys, that you can never have such thing as one methyl? You can never have a methyl group on carbon 1. Do you know that, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, you can never have a methyl group on carbon 1. You can just try to express that using a simple structural formula. So if I've got a methyl group and say this is my carbon number 1, and show it's carbon number 1, this one, and say I put a methyl group CH3, and I say that this is another carbon like this. So when you're going to number these carbons, if you guys are going to say that this is carbon 1 and this is carbon 2, it will be wrong. And obviously you want to say that at carbon 1 you have got a methyl group, and you write something like 1 methyl ethane. This is incorrect. Why is it incorrect, guys? This 1 methyl ethane. Why would it be incorrect?
Which one, sir?
This one, guys, this structural formula that I did, this 1 methyl ethane. If I say this is 1 methyl ethane,
It's wrong because we must take the longer chain.
yes. So if you put a methyl group on carbon 1, it can be part of the parent chain as well. Do you see that, guys? Because basically,
Yes.
once you put this methyl group on carbon 1, you would have to count from the methyl group itself. It's no longer a methyl group, it's now part of the parent chain. And when you number it, this will be carbon 1, this will be carbon 2, this will be carbon 3. So now you actually find out that your chain is having 3 carbons. So instead of ethane, you are supposed to have propane. So the name of this compound is just propane, is not 1-methyl-ethane. So you can never have a branch on carbon 1. You can never have a branch on what? On carbon 1. Because basically that branch becomes part of the longest chain as well. It can never be a branch and be found on carbon 1. Do you guys kind of see this?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So if you guys want to prove yourself furthermore, you can try your best and plot methyl groups in whatever combination that you can make. Plot a methyl group on carbon 1. Don't worry, it's just going to be part of the parent chain as well. So you can never have something like 1-methyl. Okay. So now let's correct it now. How are we going to write this? What's the name? Yes, Matlodi.
2-methylbutane-2-all.
Methyl butan hyphen bani.
Hyphen
Yes,
2-all.
2-all. So this is 2-methyl butan 2-all, or you can say this is 2-methyl 2-butanol. Do you see that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this is 2-methyl butan 2-all. What about, is it still tertiary? Is it still a primary, secondary, or tertiary?
Is tertiary.
Yes, because this carbon that is bonded to the OH group is bonded to 2 other carbons. You can see that there is like 3 other carbons. Yeah, it's bonded to 3 other carbons. There is one bond here for the side chain, and there's another bond here with carbon 3. There's another bond with carbon 1. So this carbon bonded to the OH group is bonded to 3 other carbons, making this to be a tertiary alcohol. Do you guys all see that?
Yes, sir.
Is anyone?
Yes, sir.
No one is confused, right? Okay, these ones are pretty now easy to do. I will leave you to do this one. This write the structural formula of this and classify it as secondary. What? I will leave you to do A for yourself. It's way easier. What about B? How can we write the structural formula of B?
Yes,
Yes, how can we write?
I think you'll just do what's on the bracket first, therefore, and after you add, branches after, say. I don't know.
Can we write what's in the brackets? Let's try to do that. We're having CH3, CH2, 3. How are we going to join these together? Give me a practical way of writing it.
I think in first carbon atom you're going to have 3 branches.
3 branches. Which one is the first carbon atom actually? I don't get it properly.
CH3, sir.
Oh, so CH3 is the first carbon. Okay, let's just do exactly as you say. So you say CH3 is the first carbon. It's a carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. That's what you say.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and then
you'll make another branch, sir.
Where? Like from here, from this one? Guys, I told you what the brackets mean, but you still guys like to ignore me when I talk. What did I say the bracket means? Sam, tell me, what does a bracket mean?
Branches, sir.
Branches on what? On which carbon? Guys, when I write something like this, see, wait, I'm still correcting Sam here. So this is C, and then I write something like CH3, and then I write 2. Maybe let me just say CH3 2, and I write something like this. I write CH CH32. What do these brackets mean? These two brackets. Or maybe I write it in reverse. I write it as CH32CH. What do the bracket mean, Sam? You are supposed to be the one that answers. What do the brackets mean?
So they mean there's a branch on
Where? On which carbon?
On that carbon, sir.
Which carbon specific? Let me just give them numbers. This is 1. Let me just name these 2. Which carbon is having the branch?
1, sir.
Yes, on carbon 1. So this branch here, this bracket shows you that this CH3, it is a branch to this carbon. Even if we write it in reverse, this CH3, these 2 CH3s, they are what? They are a branch to this carbon. Do the same interpretation here and tell me what do the brackets mean. Sam, not anyone else.
Okay, sir. We are going to have 3 branches on the first carbon.
3 branches, yes. So we're gonna have 3 branches. Okay, the brackets. What is enclosed in the bracket? Like, what is the branch here? What is the name of the branch? Okay, anyone to assist me? What is the name of the branch? This branch, CH3CH. What is the name of the branch? Assist or if I ask? Yes, it's an ethyl group, right? Yes. Yes, guys, you need to already know that an ethyl group, it has got a carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens, and it also has got another carbon bonded to 2 hydrogens. This is how an ethyl group looks like. It has got like 2 carbons and 5 hydrogens in total. So this is CH3, CH2. It is one group. Don't separate them and write CH3 alone somewhere else. It's one group. And where are they bonded to, Sam? Between, let's just say this is carbon 1, this is carbon 2, and this is carbon 3. Just look at this numbering. It's not a correct numbering per se, but tell me on which carbon here, according to how I numbered them, on which carbon are these 3 branches bonded to? Same.
1, sir.
On carbon 1, really? The bracket, guys, the bracket means that whatever is inside the bracket is bonded to the carbon that follows. How, guys? Like, haven't I been explaining the same thing here? Go back to this example. Let's go back to this example. Go back to this example 1 and example 2. Guys, when I explained you the brackets, what do the brackets mean? The bracket mean whatever is inside the bracket, whatever group of atoms is inside the bracket is bonded to the carbon that is outside the bracket. So if we're having a CH3, there are 2 CH3 groups. They are known as methyl groups. There are 2 methyl groups, and all of them are bonded to where? They are bonded to this carbon that follows. That is why you're gonna say this carbon that follows will be bonded to 2 of these CH3s. You see, this is a CH3 on top. This is another CH3 at the bottom. This is what it means. This is what it means. There's another H there. So here, Sam, look carefully because you end up getting wrong things just because of not paying attention. Look at compound B. Compound B, what is inside the bracket is an ethyl group. So it's like 3 hydrogens and 2, it's like 5 hydrogens and 2 carbons. All of them, they are bonded to carbon number 3 according to the numbering that I have used. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so you're gonna write this carbon, which I've given the label of 3. It's just my labeling. I've given it the label 3. It is going to be bonded to 2 of these groups. Now let's write these groups. How do these groups look like? This is CH3, CH2. Should see we have got a C bonded to 2 hydrogens. That is the CH2 part. And we have got a C bonded to 3 hydrogens. That is the CH3 part. This one. So basically what we are having here, this is the group CH3CH2. It's known as an ethyl group. Do you guys see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's a carbon. Yes, we've got 2 carbons and 5 hydrogens in total in this group. It's an ethyl group. This is an ethyl group with a hydrogen here. So this is CH3, CH2. So how many are we having? How many of them are we having? If you can tell me.
3.
3. So we're gonna have,
Methyl.
yes, we must have another one here. It is a carbon bonded to 2 hydrogens and another carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. Here is another ethyl group. Here's another ethyl group. So I'm gonna highlight it and say that this is another ethyl group. Here's another ethyl group. All of them, they are bonded to this carbon, guys. All of them, they are bonded to this carbon, which I'm giving the label 3. This is just my personal label. And the third one, since there are 3 of them, you need to have the third one as well. You're gonna have a carbon bonded to 2 hydrogens and another carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. This is the third ethyl group that we have there. This is the third ethyl group. As I highlight it again, here they are. Do you see, guys, that all of these 3 groups that I'm circling with colors, they are all bonded to this third carbon, which is carbon 3, the one that I've given 3, the label 3. Do you see that, guys?
Yes.
Manje, what's difficult here? Yes, Sam, what's your question?
Nothing.
So, in other words, you mean like 3 ethers on 1 carbon, sir?
Yes, that's what we're having actually, according to the condensed formula. Now my question, this carbon, guys, it must have how many bonds in total? How many bonds must it have?
3, sir.
It must have 3 bonds, carbon, for it to be stable. The heart must have, how many bonds must it have?
4.
4 bonds in total, guys. We preach this every day. A carbon atom must be surrounded by 4 bonds in total. But now here, this is only surrounded by the 3 bonds from these 3 ethyl groups. What about the third bond? What is it going? The fourth bond, what is it supposed to be, Sam?
The OH, sir.
Yes, it's the OH, because after this carbon 3, we have got an OH that follows. So it means that here, after here, we're going to have an O, then and H. Do you guys see this?
Sir,
Yes.
the reason why I said 3, I didn't include OH because of it's a functional group, sir.
Why, a reason you didn't what?
Didn't mention, I didn't say 4 because of OH obviously says hint. So I thought you wanted only on Angama visit.
Okay, it's fine in that way as well. Fair and justified. Now name this compound, guys. Now I'll remove these ethyl groups, these highlights, so that you can now see the compound fully. Tell us first the longest carbon chain. Yes, Matlodi.
The straight chain.
The one with the longest carbons, the highest number of carbons, the parent chain.
Carbon number 2, where we have methyl on top and above.
Okay, maybe I didn't rephrase my question well. How many carbons are found in the longest carbon chain? That's the question. Yes, no?
5.
So it's 5.
Yes, there are 5. If you highlight it, it is this one. You can highlight it in this way. This is your longest carbon chain. Or you can highlight it going up. It is still the same. This is your longest carbon chain. But now your functional group, the OH, it is here. This is your functional group, the OH. This chain has got 5 carbons in total. If you only highlight 3, it's already wrong. Okay, so now let us now talk about the numbering. Are we gonna number from top to bottom and to the left, or are we gonna number from left to right, then to downwards? How are we gonna number the carbons? Yes, my lord.
We're gonna number from downward, then we turn to left.
Yes, it's still the same. You can number from downwards to left, or you can number from left to down, from left to right, then downwards. Still the same thing, because all of it will give us our functional group on carbon 3. So this is your carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4, and carbon 5. Now, this is the parent chain. This is the main chain or the parent chain that will determine the root name. This is your parent chain. Now, talk about the substituents. Do we have any side chains here or substituents? Do we have any side chains or substituents? Look carefully, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you say that we have them. Well, what are those? What are those?
We have ethyl
Yes, on carbon number 3.
and alcohol.
Yes, okay, alcohol is not a substituent, it's a functional group. Please never make the mistake. On carbon number 3, we have got 2 carbons that are not part of the parent chain. So it's like 2 carbons and 5 hydrogens. Do you guys see that? Like it's 2 carbons bonded to 5 hydrogens in total. What is the name of such a group? What's the name of this group? This
Ethyl.
substituent. Yes, it's ethyl because it's having this formula CH3CH2, like 2 carbons and 5 hydrogens. Okay. What do you have any other substituents beside that?
No,
No other substituent. The OH is a functional group, no other substituent. Now give the name of this compound. Give the name of this compound. Give the name of the compound. Yes, Mahlodi.
3 hyphen
3 hyphen
ethyl
ethyl
pentan
pentan
hyphen all.
hyphen what?
3
3
hyphen all.
all. Do you guys all see this?
Yes, sir.
Anyone having confusion? Is anyone having any confusion?
no, sir. I don't.
Okay, so that is what we have for this one. So you guys will write the structure formula of this one, the first one. It's quite easy. Okay.